Hello, my beloveds. This is our Patreon angel group meeting in October of 2025. And I certainly have a lot to share today because I'm also teaching my 33 Days of Angelic Wisdom live class that met right before this one. And that topic was soul agreements and relationships. And the pain that was shared on that topic was profound. And then we went into a guided meditation to see it all as soul agreements. And then when I went to meditate and say, all right, angels, what is our topic for today in this class? They said, you aren't done with relationships. And I said, okay, what do you have to say about it? And I channeled in a writing message from them, and I'm just going to read it. I think I will cover this so you can just reflect on what they're saying. Yes, beloveds, soul agreements govern every relationship on earth, the loving ones and the painful ones. There is only one way to view these relationships that serves you, and it is that every soul is someone who is part of your heavenly soul posse, your group of souls who have incarnated through endless time together and who know and love each other as higher beings in the higher realms. You all made a dance agreement. You said, all right, let's be courageous. Let's jump into that earth realm. They are in trouble. They are conflicted. They are hating and fighting and blaming and judging. We need to go in and teach a different way, a way of finding unconditional love, no matter what is occurring in every relationship. So we want you all to know that as angels, our first job is helping you move through these painful daily, day-to-day relationships that break your heart, wound you, make you feel less than, or put you into a state of judgment. Please trust us when we tell you that there is one thing to know about every soul you interact with on earth. It is part of your soul's plan for your highest good. We promise you that you cannot look at these beings as people you expect to behave a certain way. That is the part that breaks you open for pain and judgment and anger and blame. Instead, beloved humans, we want you to remember that we are lifting you up at every moment to see that each soul is a beautiful, powerful, divine being just like you, someone you have loved throughout time and space unconditionally, and you made this painful agreement to come into earth and push each other to grow so that you could each find your next step, your great work, and turn around and help others from what you have learned. And one of the things we hope that everyone traveling the earth realm learns and remembers is that when you cross, and you are back with us in the heavenly realms, and you do your soul review, you will take that breath of release and you will say, gosh, why was I focused on their painful ego personality self that was perhaps acting from their deeper childhood wounds, and the things that had happened tarnished their soul in their lifetime? Why wasn't I focusing on who I know them to be as perfectly loving souls, part of my higher self soul posse? If I had shifted into that viewpoint, I would never have expected them to behave like an angel on earth, I would have remembered that all humans are damaged and tarnished temporarily in their personality self on earth. It is part of the growth experience, and that the awakening comes when each soul shifts up and says, I remember I am a perfect soul on a journey, and I remember that you are a perfect soul on a journey, and we are doing absolutely the best we can, and I love you anyway, and so it is. And I think it's that part of expectation that gets us in trouble on earth, that we expect the people around us to love us or to accept us or to approve of us. That is a human ego perspective. Instead, our soul is going, how is that beautiful soul doing that you know from heaven? Oh, look, they've had a very painful human journey. Oh, and look how it's weighed down their human ego personality self and made them react from that pain. How can I help them step up to their own higher self on earth and remember who they are by me sending unconditional love, eternal forgiveness to them, even if I have to pull back and protect myself in some ways from the toxicity of the relationship. I will always hold them and meditate on them in a purely unconditional, loving viewpoint. And that allows them the possibility of stepping up to their higher self while they're walking on earth and interacting with everyone, including me. If I focus on them as their wounded self, I am giving that part of them more energy. So, does that make sense? And do you have any questions? If you do, please unmute.
Beautifully said by the angels pouring through you.
Yeah.
Yes, I reflected on that yesterday, but while on my drive back. It is also a 30-year journey, and soul agreement with her because it's my husband's mother, and we have become a long way. I, needed a lot of. She needed about 25 years to open up to me.
Well, the amazing thing is that you gave her 25 years to do it.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm there and I cook for her and I clean that beautiful house and I make it all like that she sparkles and has flowers and love and everything. And at the end, she reminds me, you are not quite done with your unconditionality.
Right.
And
And I I love that you're sustaining your higher self in that long-term relationship. That takes a lot of patience and a lot of courage and a lot of spiritual alignment with your higher soul. Well done.
oh, thank you. Yeah, she reminds me every single time, of course. And
And those are the most important soul agreements that
that's
we
I
have.
said, like, she's my teacher. I said yesterday
Yes.
to her partner in life, who came, who has the same exact problems, and my husband too.
Yeah.
They're ending up at the end. You can be there for a whole week, and you can love her, and you can be with her and massage her feet, and say, "What do you need now?" Then at the end, there's something she tells the other one that what was not good enough.
Yes, of course. And the lesson in that also I've learned is whatever we're seeing in their behavior, we also have to self-examine and go, oh, now where do I do that sort of thing in my life? and how can I change that? And I know that when my mom was crossing and I was watching her vacillate between her higher soul that would come in and go, "Oh, I love you so much," and just be so loving. And then she'd go back into her human self
Mhm.
and say nasty, mean things about people. I was doing this exercise of going, what part of me is still playing out that behavior in my life where I say mean things about people? Because I need to heal and fix and correct that before I expect anyone else to do that, to behave differently. And once I do fix that in myself, then when someone else is mean or cruel, it won't trigger me in any way because I will have resolved that human ego response within myself. And one thing I want to add about this is that from our soul's review, and that's an exercise that I talk about us needing to do every night before we go to bed, reviewing our day and seeing what was the ripple effect of our thoughts, words, and actions. You know, when we leave the body and do that final soul review, we're going to see and understand who the important players were in our life. And they were always the ones who hurt us and broke us open and made us really have to regroup and recalculate and redirect, right? And that those are our greatest soul agreements in this life. So we want to see as we review our life, oh, wow, I found a way to love unconditionally in that relationship. And I didn't continue the pattern of negativity that was unfolding on earth. That's how we want to see it. And that's how our soul wants to play it. So that is our end game here. That when we cross, we can see all of those people who misbehaved and go, ah, look how much we loved each other. And look, I finally found my ability to love you unconditionally, even if it was for one moment. That's all that matters. And so it is.
Mm. It resonates 100%. So much, yeah. Because on the review yesterday, on the review drive,
Hmm.
um, I actually went into my daughter, made a relationship with my daughter, with my sister again. You know, it's mainly women in my life who are my phenomenal teachers. And I remembered something that I said to my daughter, was probably um, it was not mean or cruel, but it wasn't also fair. So I was really like, you know, in the same ways that how I felt and how my mom-in-law felt and how we got together and everything was harmonious and beautiful. And as you said, she is in her soul part quite a bit. She is really has one foot already there. I think she's maybe very old now and ready to not to ready to part at some point. You know, she's ready.
Yeah.
No, she's not ready, but she feels like she's this as a human disintegrating physically and
Mhm.
mentally and also emotionally.
And you know, that's why our soul often chooses to live a long life and to linger at the end. And everything is a soul choice, there's nothing random.
Mhm.
But our soul may choose that long life, you know, because we know that finally at the end of the journey, the mind and the ego begin to break down, even as we're still in the body. And sometimes that's the only way a soul can break a very intense survival pattern that they've picked up in this lifetime, perhaps in other lifetimes when they've come to Earth. And so they say, I'm going to linger in the body until that perspective finally breaks down and I can fulfill my highest potential while still in the body by stepping into my higher soul here on earth before I cross over. And I've watched so many people who grow old really navigate that territory of beginning to step into their higher self while they're still in the body. And I know that that's a process that souls choose. And we also choose it if we choose to go through a long chronic illness, even if we're young and we cross from cancer, that chronic or acute illness disintegrates the ego perspective, the human perspective, so that by the time we cross, we are just pure light, pure awareness, in completely merged with our higher self while still in the body. That's an incredible. I'm even taken back as I talk about it to the story of Jesus Christ, our enlightened teacher in this journey. And Jesus's message was love, forgiveness, compassion. That was actually his only message for humans. And while he was in the body, he chose what we call the path of crucifixion. He was on the 33 Master Soul journey. And that crucifixion suffering journey that his soul chose was so that he could really enact a journey of forgiveness. That thing from the Bible that says, Father, forgive them, they know not what they do. I think for all of us, that's a little glimpse into that ascended soul of Jesus saying, all right, you may say that my message isn't that important because I'm not very old and I haven't walked on the earth journey a long time, but in my final parts of the life journey, I will go through great physical suffering. I will feel emotionally betrayed, and I will still find a way to step into my forgiveness and my compassion before the human lifetime is over. And that's the model he left us, which I love so much. And for each of us, we have our own crucifixion journey, whatever form it takes. And the point of it is for us to step into that higher compassion, that higher forgiveness, that higher state of unconditional love for everyone, even those who we think tried to destroy us or who hurt us terribly or who wounded our loved ones or who we might believe are political leaders who are destroying our country. Yes, we are meant to see all this from the soul. And when we do it, we see this preordained dance of light and dark unfolding on earth, no matter how crazy it looks on earth up close. There is a bigger soul plan, and the light always wins. The love always wins, and our light is greater than any darkness or any challenge that comes our way. And so it is. I have one more question that came by email this week when I said that I would be teaching the angel class. And I think this question is really good. So I'm going to read it and answer it. Dear Sue, how can I receive the messages of angels? I know they're around me. I know they're loving me, but I just can't feel it in my day-to-day life. That is such an authentic and real situation about how we feel on earth. And again, I go back to the teaching that there's two ways we walk through the earth journey. And one way is our human ego self. And that's the self that has to go to work and make money and do the laundry and cook dinner and clean the house. And then there's our soul, who's part of all of that, but is lifting us up in a higher viewpoint, going, you are greater than any of this challenge. See it all from your higher self. Find your love, your forgiveness, and your understanding. And we vacillate between those two views. And if we're totally down in our human viewpoint and we're not taking 5 minutes to sit in the silence, to meditate, or even to say, beautiful angels, love me, lift me, help me, heal me. And to feel their extraordinary presence with us. Oh my goodness. The minute I even say those words, I feel lifted into the angelic perspective. I feel their love with me. I remember that I'm not walking this alone. It's not as hard as my ego wants to make it, that there's always love around me, lifting me to walk through this life with grace, with courage, with compassion. That is the angel's job. That's why they're here. That's why we're here, to receive that message and accomplish our human lifetime with so much goodness instead of being lost in the negativity of it. What is the point of a human lifetime if we spend all of it in our ego's perspective? I mean, that is awful, actually, to think that every moment of a human lifetime would be about, hey, I need to be respected. I need to accumulate money. I need to be successful in my career. I need to be blah, 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 blah. That is your ego speaking. Your soul is going, we are all connected. We are all here on purpose for one reason, to shift consciousness on earth to the angelic higher perspective so that we can change this earth realm forever, shift it into a frequency that is able to hold on to unconditional love and able to lift above human pain and step into soul wisdom while living in this beautiful earth realm with our beloveds that we can see, touch, and feel and hug, and the birds and nature and everything that is so extraordinarily physical and sensual here. We are trying to shift this reality to merge with the heavenly realms that are pure, unconditional love, God, and incredible wisdom. We're merging these. So you agreed to be part of this time of merging these realities. So ask yourself, am I spending more time in my wounded ego self? If so, I'm going to forgive myself right now. And I'm going to say, angels, for the rest of today, lift me, love me, bring me into the higher perspective. Get me to pause before I speak or react. Whisper into my higher self how I should see and behave in every situation. And then go about your day, go about your week, go about your life, remembering that. And now you're an evolved, accelerated soul helping the collective step into our higher awareness on earth. And on that note, let's go for a little guided meditation. So let me put this here. Take a deep breath with me. Inhale. And again. In this moment, we already feel held and lifted by the angels. We feel them loving us, rocking us as if we're a child. And they're soothing us with their beautiful voices, singing to us, loving on us the way that we have loved on babies, seeing them as beautiful souls. This is how the angels are seeing us and holding us right now. Return to your sweetness as a baby who is just beginning this earth life. Feel that innocence in your heart. Feel that love you feel for every human that comes into your vision. This is how you came to this earth lifetime. This is how you want to return to the heavenly realms, knowing that you stepped into that innocence, that love, as often as possible. that you carried that sweetness, that laughter, that joy into every moment of your earth life. And right now, the angels are dancing with you as if you're a toddler. And you're laughing and you're uninhibited, and there's joy, and you know that you are deeply loved. There's a circle of angels around you, loving you, laughing with you. Recreate your childhood right now by seeing it this way. There were always angels around you in this lifetime. Even when you felt alone, they were catching you, lifting you, supporting you, healing you, even when you could not see it. They were the circle of angels that protected you in the middle of the night when you were scared, that softened your heart when someone had hurt you and you were hardening your heart. The angels were opening your heart again, showing you a rainbow, showing you the beauty of nature, having a bird sing to you unexpectedly, bringing a beloved animal into your life to open you up again, navigating a random meeting with a stranger who would say exactly what you needed to hear on a given day when you were hurting. That's how the angels have loved and supported you and surrounded you in this lifetime. Return to that knowingness that you are a beloved child, a child of angels, a child of God. And you never fall down without being picked up and held and loved. If it's not by the humans in your life, it's by the angels, by the God source of love. Feel that. Know that it's true. Rewrite your life story by knowing your deepest pain. These extraordinary angels were holding you, helping you. Right now, no matter what you're walking through in your earth journey, see and feel these beloved angel beings soothing you, rocking you, holding you, loving you, lifting you above your pain. Believe that it is true. Know that it is real. This is how the angels help us on earth. A simple shift into your soul's view reminds you what a loving universe this is. No matter how it seems in the moment. And so it is. So with that meditation, let's go about our day and our week and remember at every painful moment that we are surrounded by love and picked up by the angels. Open the heart, feel it, remember it, and know that it is true. Many blessings. Love you so much.
Love you so